Adam Silver just said the quiet part out loud. Caitlin Clark, in his own words, has become a political football. Let that sink in for a second. The commissioner of the NBA, not even her own league, had to step in front of cameras and admit this is a mess. If you're a Fever fan, if you've been riding with Caitlin since she stepped on a WNBA court, you already knew something was off. Now the guy at the very top of basketball is saying it too. So what actually happened? Let's back up and walk through this the right way, because there's a lot here and you need the full picture before you get mad or relieved, or both. Go back to June 24th, Fever versus Mercury. In the second quarter, Phoenix forward Alyssa Thomas makes contact with her fist right into Clark's throat. In real time, on the court, in the moment, the refs call nothing. Nothing. Caitlin Clark gets hit in the throat, and play just keeps rolling like it's a normal Tuesday. Now here's where it gets interesting. The league goes back, reviews the play after the fact, and suddenly it's not nothing anymore. They upgrade it to a flagrant foul. Thomas gets a 1-game suspension and a fine. So somewhere between the live whistle and the film room, the story changed completely. And that gap, that space between what happened live and what got punished days later, that's the whole controversy in a nutshell. Because if it was bad enough to suspend her for, how did nobody see it in the moment? Now to be fair, and we're going to be fair here because that's how you get the real story, Thomas said afterward that she didn't mean to do it, that it was an accident in the middle of a physical play, and after the backlash hit her, she said she started getting death threats and racial slurs online. That's serious. Nobody should be getting death threats over a basketball play, ever. Caitlin Clark and her own head coach, Stephanie White, both came out and publicly condemned those threats against Thomas. So even in the middle of all this tension, you had Clark's camp saying, "Hey, leave her alone. That's not okay." So this isn't a simple hero and villain story. It's messier than that. But what it did do is light a fuse under the whole conversation about how Clark gets treated on the court, game after game, and whether the league is actually protecting her the way it should. This is bigger than one foul now. This is about whether the WNBA has a real plan for its biggest star, or whether they're just reacting every time something blows up online. Quick question before we keep going. Do you think the league only upgraded that foul because of the public pressure? Because everybody was talking about it? Drop your honest answer in the comments. I actually want to see the split on this one. Okay. Here's where Adam Silver enters the picture. This whole thing landed on his desk during a conversation at the Game Plan Summit, an event with CNBC and Boardroom, sitting on stage with Andrew Ross Sorkin. And Silver wasn't just asked a soft question about Clark's season. He got asked directly about a report that he personally stepped in and pushed WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert to suspend Thomas after she had reportedly planned to let it go without punishment. And what did Silver say when he got asked point blank if that report was true? He wouldn't confirm it. He wouldn't deny it either. He just said, quote, "I'm not going to comment on that because I don't think it's fair to Caitlin and to Cathy Engelbert either." Think about that for a second. The commissioner of the entire NBA, sitting on a public stage, being asked if he had to reach into the WNBA and fix a decision himself, and all he gives you is a non-answer. That's not nothing. When powerful people dodge a direct question like that, it usually means there's something real behind it they don't want to spell out on camera. So now the story isn't just about one foul anymore, it's about whether the top of basketball had to quietly intervene because the WNBA couldn't get its own house in order. But here's the part that actually matters, the part that got people talking. Silver didn't hide behind commissioner speak the whole time. At one point, he just said it straight. He said, "She has become a bit of a political football in this country, and I think it's incredibly unfair to her." Read that again. Incredibly unfair to her. That's the commissioner of the NBA, not some talking head on a sports show, saying flat out that Caitlin Clark is getting a raw deal. He went further too, saying the real issue isn't even about whether one specific foul should have been called. He called it political ping pong, meaning Clark has turned into something people fight over that has nothing to do with basketball anymore. For everybody who's been saying for 2 years that this is bigger than sports, that Clark got dropped into a situation nobody prepared her for, this is about as close to vindication as you're going to get from someone at that level. Now, does one comment fix everything? No, but it's not nothing either. It's the guy running the NBA basically confirming what a huge chunk of the audience has believed the whole time. Here's where it gets even more complicated though. And this is the part that shows just how far this thing has spread outside of basketball entirely. Republican lawmakers actually got involved. Members of Congress sent a letter pressuring WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert directly, pushing her to do more to protect Caitlin Clark on the court. Let that land for a second. This isn't just fans on social media anymore. This isn't just sports radio callers. This is elected officials in Washington weighing in on how one basketball player is being treated by referees. That's the moment this story stopped being a basketball story and became something way bigger. When politicians are writing letters about foul calls, you know, the temperature around this has gone somewhere most sports controversies never go. And it puts Silver in an impossible spot. He's trying to defend Clark, trying to say this has gotten unfair to her, while also trying not to throw Engelbert or the WNBA completely under the bus in public. He's basically threading a needle in real time, on camera, and you can hear it in how careful he's being with his words. And think about why the league can't just brush this off anymore. Clark's games are the ones driving the ratings, the sellouts, the merchandise numbers the WNBA has been chasing for years. So when lawmakers and the biggest name in basketball are both saying the treatment of their franchise player is a problem, that's not something the league can quietly wait out. Ignoring it costs them the exact audience that's been keeping the lights on. So how does Silver try to have it both ways? He does something smart. He doesn't just defend Clark and stop there. He actually admits the league has a real problem. He said it plainly. Do we need to improve WNBA officiating? No doubt about it. That's huge. That's the commissioner-level admission that fans have been demanding this whole time. Not some vague statement about looking into things. A direct yes. Officiating needs to get better. When the guy at the very top says that on a public stage, sitting next to a CNBC anchor, that's not a small thing. That's an admission that ends up in every headline the next morning. So here's where we land. In one conversation, Adam Silver did three things at once. He called out the unfair treatment directly. He admitted the officiating has real problems, and he refused to hide behind a scripted non-answer when asked about stepping in personally, even if he wouldn't confirm the details. That's about as much acknowledgement as you're going to get from someone at his level without a full press conference. It doesn't erase what happened on June 24th. It doesn't undo the threats Thomas said she received. It doesn't magically fix officiating overnight, but it puts everything on the record, out loud, from the top of the sport. Caitlin Clark didn't ask to become the center of a political fight. She just wanted to play basketball. But like Silver said, that's exactly what she's become, whether anyone planned it that way or not. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Adam Silver's comments actually push the WNBA to change how they handle Caitlin Clark? Or is this just talk that gets forgotten in a week? Tell me straight in the comments, because I want to see where this community really stands on it.